Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of our live Twitch channel. Oh my goodness, you guys are already chatting and interacting. It's so great to be here. Thank you for being here. I am excited to see this next episode with you. Holy cow, we got a lot of stuff to get through tonight. I've got announcements about the stream. I've got mail call. We're going to be actually looking at some hate mail that we've received, which is amazing. I can't wait for that. We got an episode to get through. We got our first ever edition of Red Green Trivia tonight. And we got a pretty sweet new hat, which we'll get into in a minute as well. What do you guys think? It's pretty banging, right? Now, before we get going, though, of course, we got to get this started the correct way. If you know the actions, please follow along at home.
All right.
Please bow your heads for the man's prayer.
I'm a man, but I can change if I have to, I guess.
All right, and we are underway. I'm going to take off this lovely hat. It is a beauty. This is something that I found in my dad's basement the other day and thought I'd bring it tonight for the stream. It is a gift, actually. I'll read this little message in here. It was presented to my dad, so it says, Steve, Red Green, may Possum Lodge live forever in our hearts and in our minds. From Dan Small, Tom Dvorak, Jeff Kahlo, and then in brackets it says, Big Guy Hats, and all your friends at MPTV 10 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Duct tape forever. So you've heard of cheese heads. This is for all the redheads out there. And the carpet does match the drapes, if you're wondering. So it's pretty sweet. Loving this cap. But as I said, we have some lots of stuff to get through tonight. Got some announcements about the stream to start off with. But just to let you know, if you have a question for me, please don't hesitate to go ahead and in channel put at Red Green Junior TV and then type your question. I'll see it bolded, just like Marcus Spears has done. What in the heck is on your head? Exactly. And I will try to get to your questions when I see them. Some announcements to start off. First of all, thank you all for being back here again. You guys have been participating every week. We've been running the unhosted streams Tuesdays and Thursdays. People have been here. People have been chatting, interacting, asking questions, talking to each other, enjoying them. And then these Wednesday night streams as well. So thank you just for being here. Welcome. If it's your first time tonight, welcome. We hope you have a good time. My name is Dave. I'm your host, aka Red Green Jr., and I am actually Steve Smith's, aka Red Green's, son in real life, which is why I'm able to have access to this content and have the moniker of Red Green Jr. and do all that stuff. So if you have questions for me, comments, please feel free to put them in chat. Some of you who are subscribers to the channel, you've already taken that next step and subscribed, which is super fantastic. We're super grateful. You should know that our channel emote works. It was approved by Twitch. So if you're a sub to this channel, you can click on the little happy face emote button in the chat window, and you should see a picture. It's Red Green kind of opening a strip of duct tape, and you can now spam that in chat. And if you're on a different channel on Twitch, you can go spam it there and advertise our channel in other places. Paladin Frost, what's up, man? He says, how are you tonight, Dave? I'm doing very well. How are you doing tonight? Paladin, I'm so glad you're here because you are absolutely tied into my next announcement, which I'll make in just a second. Marcus says, are we actually going to see your brother Max on one of these? Maybe. We might even do like a combo, the both of us sometime. Max is actually the nicer looking of the two of us. Oh, I see some spam of those emotes. Good job. Max is actually the nicer looking of the two of us. So when we decided, who was going to host the Twitch channels, we thought, let's go with the chubby bald guy, because that's the kind of decision making that we have in our family. Actually, I just called dibs first, so I get to do it. But maybe one of these days we'll get Max on screen as well. Yes, really, Paladin, really. So my next announcement is, again, if you're new to chat, you haven't been here too much, you should know that you don't have to be a subscriber to do this next thing, which is something called commands. So the chat room has automatic commands put into it. And if you type !commands, which I just did, Nightbot, which is our automated moderator, will spit out, these are the different commands that you can type in chat, and that will get Nightbot to say what's programmed into that command. So the idea is, as you watch an episode, and Paladin Frost is our commander-in-chief here. He's the greatest command user I've seen. For instance, if Red is signing off at the end of the show and he's about to give like his signature line, you can type in !Kaisati, and Nightbot will say, keep your stick on the ice. Same thing with Handy. And you can, you guys are getting it. You're spitting it out. That's good stuff. Somebody comes into chat. Again, we have a lot of people come to chat, and maybe they might be asking the same question that you've maybe heard before. A lot of people come in and say, hey, what make and model is the Possum Lodge van? Or how many vans did you have on the show? Well, now, if you're in chat and you see somebody ask that, you can go, van, there's an answer. Okay. Hey, Saints Angel, how are you? Nice to see you. Welcome. Again, with Harold's Gizmo, what is that thing Harold's holding? Now in chat, you can type !Gizmo and answer that person's question. So please feel free to use those commands tonight, both interacting with the episode when we watch it. We got episode 3, season 1 coming up. But also as other people maybe ask questions in chat, feel free to use those commands as well. Also, to any of our fans who are here tonight who watch either currently on a PBS station or in the past at some point got sort of introduced to the show through a PBS station, we've noticed you've been coming into chat and saying, hey, I watch on PBS. I think it would be kind of cool if we had kind of a PBS channel leaderboard somewhere in the channel. And we would love for you guys to say, if you're here, and again, if you've watched on a PBS station, go ahead and type in the call letters into chat. So if you watched out of Dallas, you might type KERA, just like that. Or somewhere else, and would love to get a record. I can watch the VOD back later and kind of keep track of who's been watching on what PBS station. That would be great to get a sense of where people are and where they've watched the show from. Excellent. I see some already. TPT. I think is that Twin Cities TPT? I'm not up on my PBS channels the way I probably should be. Lots of good stuff. Prozac says, love Harold's Gizmo. Where is it today? Please tell me you guys are using it for these. I don't have Harold's Gizmo on me. I think it may have been sold. A lot of our props were donated when the show ended to a store that supported us for a long time called Mr. Used in Hamilton. I think maybe it got sold off in an auction from them when they went out of business, but I'm not exactly sure. But I don't have it, unfortunately. That would be awesome. Cohoso watches at KVCR San Bernardino, but haven't donated since they dropped the show. Yeah, it's not on nearly as many as it used to be, but oh wow, yeah, WITU, WGVU, IPTV, Iowa, Obi-Wan, Overman. Iowa is a historically amazingly supporter of the show. When it was in its heyday, man, Iowa raised more money than a lot of the other PBS stations combined. Iowa was insane. So welcome to you. And to everyone else, thank you for putting those in there. Again, I'll watch the VOD later tonight, and I'm going to try to establish kind of a leaderboard somewhere on this page. So when people come, they type in their call letters, and you'll get added to the list. But that's very cool. Yeah. Okay. let's move on. Again, if you have a question for me, feel free to put it in chat. I'll stop what I'm doing and answer it. Absolutely want to take your questions. But as I said, we got lots going on tonight, so I want to kind of make sure we keep moving and get to that episode as quickly as possible. First of all, we do have some mail. Cahoso says, at Red Green Jr., are you or your father still in contact with Ian Thomas? And if so, how is his son Jake doing? I'm not. I was pretty young when Ian was on the show, so he wasn't really, not really a friend of mine. I'm not sure if my dad is or not, but Cahoso, I will ask him and see what he says. But I'm not sure. Okay, for those of you who were here, first of all, I just wanted to show this real quick because
remember, women don't find you handsome. They should at least find you handy.
Thank you for the follow. Some people have been saying, Dave, are you really Red Green's son? Because maybe you're just a guy who has access to some of this stuff and you can Google these answers. How do we know you are who you say you are? And so I just wanted to put up, here's a crew shot from I think this was the second to last season. Maybe it was the last season. Anyways, you notice in the middle of the picture, my dad and Pat McKenna and Bob Bainbro, who played Dalton, and above them you'll see Jeff Lumby with his little bow tie on playing Winston Rothschild. And if you look way over to the right of the picture, you will see a bald smiley guy. That's me. I think that's 2004 or 2005. And beside me, in between me and Dalton Humphrey, are another two of the show writers, Rob Sheridan and Bruce Peary. So that's kind of a little bit of proof, I guess. I brought this. This is my dad's biography. It's called We're All in This Together. It's really a good book. I'm not just saying that because it's my dad. And I'm not just saying that because it's for sale at the website that I run, www.redgreenshop.com. And it's on sale actually till midnight tonight, every item, if you want to go buy some Red Green stuff, just saying. Don't, after the stream, please stay with us, but after the stream. But anyways, on the cover of this, you'll see, I don't know if this camera will pick it up, but maybe it will. Right there. You'll see a smiley bald guy. That's me, 2007. That's my dad beside me. And the other side, that is Max, my brother, over there on the other side. And that's my son when he was born in 2007. That's a picture of us at our house after bringing my son home from the hospital. So that's got to be some proof, right? And then I don't know if you can get this in focus or not, but there's a picture of me with hair in the mid-late 90s, again beside my dad in a family picture. So for all you naysayers out there, either I'm Red Green's son for real, or I'm one of the best stalkers in the business. And either way, I think, it's something. Who is that handsome guy, Paladin? Exactly. Okay, so the cash shot, I just want to kind of get that out of the way. Next up, you might remember if you were here last week, Heather submitted this via Facebook. It was a picture that they got this past fall with her family, with Red, and then her father made this frame afterwards. Lucky says, why was Bill replaced with Walter in later episodes? I'm not exactly sure why that went down when Bill left for a bit. I do know that Rick Green, who played Bill, had another show that SNS Productions, which is our family production company, produced called History Bites. And it started gaining popularity and gaining traction and started taking more of his time. So while I'm not exactly sure, I think the reason for that kind of break for him was to focus on that show History Bites. And then he came back and kind of found a way to do both a season or so later. That's what I remember anyways. The Ferb guy says, how about a Nightbot command for I'm pulling for you, we're all in this together? Ferb guy, that's a great idea. I got the audio clip.
Remember, I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together.
But that's a very good suggestion for a Nightbot command. Anyways, back to Heather. So last week I showed you that. Heather was so happy that I actually showed the thing she sent. She sent me another picture, which is a Father's Day present she gave to her dad the guy who made the frame. His name is Robert. And I love this picture because it shows a red green book, which is for sale at www.redgreenshop.com right now. Red Green's Beginner's Guide to Women. But what I really love about it is Heather. You look in the top corner there. That is a homemade, out of colored duct tape. You see the roll of green duct tape off in the corner. Green and red duct tape bow, which I think is pretty freaking awesome. So Heather, kudos to you on that craftsmanship. Well done. Then I got a note from Robert. He says, I'm Heather's dad. I made the frame. And thank you, Dave Smith, for featuring the frame on your show and for the kind compliment. It was my wife Audrey's idea to border the photo with the signed duct tape. Robert, you gave your wife credit in the Facebook message. Well friggin' done, sir. Then he says, your dad put on an amazing show and we had a wonderful evening. At least that's what we told each other when we finally sobered up the next day. Robert, the Red Green Show was written mainly under the influence of alcohol, so, you know, it's supposed to be enjoyed that way as well. So, good job. Okay, I'm joking about that. Well, about the writing part anyway. Yeah, talking, that's how I sneak in the pitches. You barely notice them, right? Okay. Then Jordan, who also sent in stuff next week, sent me this thing that he found on a Simpsons calendar. Monday, 22nd of May, in Bart versus Lisa versus third grade, after Bart and Lisa spent the night in the woods, who do they find staring at them when they wake up the next morning? Is it A, the Philadelphia Flyers, B, angry armed hillbillies, C, Red Green and Ranger Gord, or D, raccoons with dinner utensils? Now, if you're crafty, you look between Bart and Lisa at the bottom of the screen there. There's an answer upside down. It says answer B, angry armed hillbillies. But holy cow, Red Green and Ranger Gord were a question or an answer or a potential answer on a Simpsons product. I appreciate, Jordan, you sending that in to bring that to my attention, because let me tell you, I don't recall getting a royalty check from the Simpsons calendar company. So you're on notice, Simpsons. Our legal team is going to, I'm sure you sold hundreds of these around the country, and we're coming after our $10 or $15. And, you know, our legal team, AKA Max, is going to get right on that. All right. Now, as I said, much of the feedback has been super positive. Thank you guys for your appreciation and all your lovely messages to me. But I thought we would take just sort of a quick second and look at the 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 negative messages that have been posted about this channel, because I think that's more fun, to be honest. So let's do that. Who does that? I do that. Hey, Crypto Jerry. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. So just to give you a little background, some of these come from our YouTube channel. Actually, most of them do. And we have a YouTube channel called youtube.com/redgreentv where you can go and watch episodes for free. And when we started making the announcement about doing a Twitch page, people on YouTube who already subscribed there said, hey, can you put the VODs up on YouTube? And we said, okay, that's fine. We could do that. It's a little extra work, but no problem. And so then we put one up, and then people said, can you please keep putting them up? So we've kept putting them up. However, we've also gotten, despite a lot of positive comments under the YouTube videos of the VODs of these Wednesday night things, we've gotten some negative ones too. This is one I liked. This sucks. Short, sweet, clear, to the point. You know, there's no guesswork about a comment like that. The Ferb Guy, are all of the episodes on there for clarification? They are. Every single of the one of the 300 Red Green episodes are available for free. This guy didn't like the VOD that we put up. This next one I liked a little bit more. As much fun as trying to enjoy a program and somebody constantly interrupts. I actually think we should use this as the new like the new description of our Twitch channel, because that pretty much encapsulates it, right? That's pretty good. Thank you for donating that great idea. We might have to use that. This next one I really like. Keep in mind, our YouTube channel is free and remains free. Get any feedback from Rick Green on what you're doing? For me, you ruined this channel. It might have been better if you'd set up your own Red Green Jr. TV channel. Too much chatter, man. Best of luck, though. I didn't get any feedback from Rick Green. I don't really know why I would, but I'm not sure he's aware of it yet. But the key here is, for me, you ruined this channel. So by that, this guy's talking about the YouTube channel. So that's kind of like, let's say your favorite kind of orange juice is Tropicana orange juice. And you go to a store where you find Tropicana orange juice for free. And every day you go and you get your free Tropicana orange juice and you love it. And then one day you go and beside the orange juice, you see Tropicana apple juice. And you say, hey, now there's free orange juice and free apple juice. I'm going to try this apple juice. And you take the free apple juice home and you drink it and you say, hey, I don't really like this apple juice. I like the orange juice. And then you call Tropicana and you say, hey, Tropicana, I'm so angry that you offered me free apple juice along with the free orange juice. And I don't like that apple juice so much, I'm not going to drink any Tropicana anymore, even though I like the orange juice. That doesn't make any sense. So I just want to be clear, because maybe some of our YouTube viewers are not getting it. If you don't like the VODs, or you don't like the interaction, or you think I'm talking too much, or that kind of stuff, please go ahead and watch the episodes. That's fine. This is for being interactive and us having conversation. That's what this is about. So I just want to kind of make sure we're clear on that. Internet logic, exactly. Midnight Stallion, I missed your question, says, maybe this sucks was a Winston reference. Glass half full. Very creative, Midnight. Maybe. I'll have to ask for clarification on that one. Okay. And then after getting this one, which is too much chatter, then I got an email saying this. I liked it better when you interrupted more rather than less. I love hearing every little detail about the show I can possibly hear, even if it's about what the crew had for lunch. These episodes are up anyway, so why not just talk, and talk? So basically, like, if I talk too much, someone's ticked. If I don't talk enough, someone's ticked. But at least we're getting criticism on both sides, which means we're probably onto something. And again, most of the comments have been so positive and energetic that's why we keep doing this. The feedback has been great. That's just a few of the notes that I'm getting, and I thought you might want to be aware of it. This is like the DVD extras with interaction, right, Led? That's what I'm saying. Little interaction. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. So that's all of our hate mail. So, YouTube, come at me. That's, we got to bring something a little heavier for next week. All right, we're going to move on now to begin our episode. Tonight's episode is Season 1, Episode 3. And just to kind of set this up tonight, I do have some things to talk about tonight, and I'm going to pause the episode a number of times and just sort of set up what you're about to see. If you're on YouTube right now and you would prefer I not do that, please go just click on Season 1, Episode 3 and just watch the episode. That's fine. Again, keep asking me questions, and I will try to interact with them as the stream progresses. All right. Here we go. Actually, I'm just going to say this real quick, because it's about the opening. For some of you who are diehard fans and you've watched Season 1 many times, especially if you haven't watched on PBS, if you watched it on CHCH originally, you'll notice that this opening for this season is actually not a season 1 opening. So you're going to see some things in it. You're going to see that there are cast members from season 2 in this opening. So that's going to be a tip off. You're going to see a fire tower shot. It's an exterior shot of a fire tower. And if you've been watching any of our season 1 episodes, you know we didn't have the budget to shoot any fire tower stuff on location. That fire tower is up in Muskoka, Northern Ontario. We didn't go there till season 3 or 4. All our Ranger Gord stuff is in a treehouse in Burlington. So you're going to see some things in the opening that are going to tip you off that this is not a season 1 opening. The reason why it is in a season 1 episode is because when the show was ultimately sold to PBS, the decision was made to have all the openings look the same for every season. That way PBS station could buy whatever season they wanted, and the openings would not look drastically different. So therefore their fans would know what they were watching. That's kind of why the opening is not actually a season 1 opening, but it's in a season 1 episode. One thing else to watch for in this opening, there is a shot when the red green show graphic kind of first comes onto the screen. There's a shot of like, it looks like the camera's going over the surface of the water towards a bridge. And I was on the shoot that day, and there's no way I was 10, which is how old I was when the show actually started. So this must have been season 3, season 4 when this was shot. I was on that shoot. I was on that boat 100% for that shot. I actually think I was driving the boat, but if I wasn't driving the boat, I was at least holding on to our cameraman's leg, one of his legs. The cameraman's name is Harry Carson, who shot that. He was lying down on the bow of the boat with the camera hanging out over the side. And I'm pretty sure I was driving the boat, because I remember thinking, what if I just jerked the wheel quick? I could send Harry into the lake. But the camera was very expensive, so I didn't do that. Anyway, so it'll be a quick little Red Green Junior TV thing, and then the opening of the show. So watch for that shot, and keep an eye out for things that tip you off that this is not a season 1 opening. All right, here we go. All right, I'm actually going to pause it there as well because I didn't mention this. A lot of people ask me what this building is and kind of where it came from. This is actually, my family was on vacation. We were going Griswold style in the States. We rented an RV and went for a trip. I believe this was in Vermont. It was the office of the trailer park. And my dad saw it. He had brought his camera along. Thank you for the follow, Brink Little. He had brought his camera along, saw this office, loved it, and took a bunch of video and still shots of it. And from then on, it was used as the exterior shots of the lodge. So actually not a hunting and fishing lodge at all. And inside, it was actually quite nice. But the outside looked pretty cool.
And now it's time for the greatest show in the history of television. The program that has reshaped the medium, and it's leading the way in terms of content, look, and sheer power. Yes, it's the Red Green Show, starring the dynamic and forceful man of action, my uncle, and quite possibly the sexiest man alive. Red, green, 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 green.
Thank you very much, Harold. Thank you, and welcome to the show.
I was going to pause there for a quick sec. One thing that I enjoy watching when I watch these old episodes is that a lot of times items from our house growing up ended up on the set. That wooden sailboat in between them, I'm pretty sure came from our house. Also, if you're able to look very closely, you will see we had a very small budget for season 1. Actually, all of the seasons of the show were pretty small budget, but season 1 was tiny, and we didn't have enough money to get new set pieces. And so these set pieces are actually inherited from an older show my parents did called Comedy Mill. And if you look very closely, the set pieces from Comedy Mill were actually formed, they were plastic sheets made to look like bricks attached to wooden skids. And we didn't have enough money to make new plastic sheets to look like wood. And so we took the brick ones from the Comedy Mill set and just painted them to look like horizontal wooden slats. So if you look very closely at the back, kind of over Harold's shoulder there, you can actually see the outline of the brick kind of pattern. Again, season 1 especially, not a lot of money for stuff, and so that's the kind of corners that we had to cut.
Thanks for watching. We got a real dynamic show for you tonight. A lot of guests and film clips and what have you, and it's a real good show. A good show.
Don't do that.
Sorry, we were up a bit late last night. We were looking for UFOs, weird things from outer space. Speaking of which, come on over here a minute, Harold. Harold is my nephew and also the producer and the director of the show. He's a real jerk of all trades.
Plus, I do this. That takes us into our next segment, in case this one's dragging or something like that. So naturally, I need all these buttons. I'm busy.
Yeah, well, so anyhow, like I say, we were watching for UFOs. We were having a skinny dip after dinner, and we saw this huge thing kind of go through the air. And we thought at first that it was Moose Thompson, but this seemed to have some intelligence to it.
Do you look anything like this?
No, not at all.
Oh, well, that eliminates that.
That eliminates what?
You finishing your story.
I just pause it real quick there as well, just to mention these are the Campfire Songs. This is shot at the Nash Farm, which is a farm in Hamilton, kind of right along the brow of the mountain. Beautiful old farm, lots of old buildings. It was a great place for us to shoot a lot of things in the show. Actually, the adventure film that's coming up later in this episode also shot at the Nash Farm. Lots of old buildings, forested areas, open fields. And mainly, it was really cheap to shoot there. And Farmer Nash, who ran the place, didn't care at all when we were blowing stuff up or burning things or, blowing up cars or whatever. He would often come out from his house when he knew that something dangerous was going to happen and just kind of sit back and watch and see if anybody was going to get hurt. And then when we'd finish that scene, he'd go back into the house. These Campfire Songs, again, season 1, we had no money. So these Campfire Songs, all of the songs for the entire season were shot in one night. No rehearsals, no take twos, whatever they got. And, that was one evening of shooting doing this. Paladin Frost says, did the background noises increase or decrease as the seasons went on? I'm not 100% sure about that, Paladin. It seems to me like they decrease a little bit in frequency and in volume, but I'm not totally certain about that. Anyways, this is one of my favorite Campfire Songs. Also, Campfire Songs, if you're interested in getting the audio for every single Campfire Song we ever did, available at our store, www.redgreenshop.com, on sale until midnight Eastern Time tonight. Here we go.
We go out every Friday, drinking with the boys. We raise up a ruckus and make lots of noise.
Break most of our promises.
No, we break all our promises and most of our toys. Friday night drinking with the boys. Yes, thanks, sir. Drinking with the boys. Drinking with the boys. 200 beers, each one of us destroys. I love to go drinking with the boys. Too bad they're all dead now.
This week in the handyman corner, we're going to show you how to
Midnight Science says, at Greg Green Jr. TV, are these memories just ingrained, or do you need a memory jog from your dad on some of this? I need a memory jog from my dad on some of this. Again, I was 10, 11 years old for season 1. So some things I remember very clearly as memories, and some things I definitely needed help from my brother, my dad, other people from the show that I'm still in contact with to help me with it. So yeah, definitely some help.
How to refinish furniture, and it's kind of a new technique that we're using here. Now, ordinarily, when I was going to refinish, say, a beautiful old chair like this, I would take just an ordinary dinner knife and just kind of, get that paint and what happened. The problem with that is it does create the occasional blemish on the furniture, and it makes dinner taste funny. Now, the alternative that most people go with is some sort of a chemical stripper. Don't ever say that around old man Sedgwick.
Seem to be getting some technical difficulties here with the video.
It makes dinner taste funny. Now,
let me see if I can fix that for us here. We're getting a little stuttering. Kind of fast forward to where we were here.
That is it. It does create the occasional blemish on the furniture, and it makes dinner taste funny.
Duct tape has been applied.
Now, the alternative that most people go with is some sort of a chemical stripper. Don't ever say that around old man Sedgwick. But we don't like to use the chemicals up at the lodge because one time Stinky Peterson stripped down the two-holer, and he hasn't been able to think of anything that happened between 1985 and 1987. So what we like to use, and I think the best way to take a finish off of furniture, is one of those heat guns, which will cost you actually up to about $40. But we have a way around that. I'm sure everybody has a few hair dryers lying around the house. One in the kids' room, one in the daughter's room, one in the wife's room, maybe one in the grandmother's room, one in your own room. Maybe you use them to dry the baby's bottom or whatever. What you do is you get about 6 of these together, and then you get an old broken down hockey stick like this. No, this is actually a good hockey stick. Well, I don't want to use a good hockey stick for this.
That's probably my brother's hockey stick.
There. Okay, now we got the hockey stick, and what we do is we attach the hair dryers to the stick using the handyman's secret weapon. Duct tape. All right, well, we got her all set here, and I got them all kind of generally pointing the same direction. Now, the problem I could run into is these are about 1,500 watts power each, and we got 6 of them. So there's I guess over 7,000 or 8,000 watts of power there, which is too much for your normal household circuit. So what I done was I took the fuse out and replaced it with a nickel. Works great, only costs 5 cents. So anyway, we'll pick this baby up, and we're ready to show you how it works on the chair. All right, you want to hit the power there?
Yeah, just a quick second. I see Prozac says, wow, the original Possum Lodge patch is huge. It's like Red has a small Frisbee stapled to his shirt. My mom actually sewed those original patches, which is why there's only 2 of them. Harold and Red wear them. Next season, which is season 2, is the first time they introduced the actual white patch that we know today, the crest, which is on the vests that the guys wear in the Possum Lodge meetings. But Red and Harold continue to wear those original crests on their shirts throughout season 2. But yeah, my mom actually made those, so she's quite the handy one as well.
Doesn't need as much as the workbench. We can use it on the workbench. Very well. You get the idea. So remember, until next time, you want to kill the power. Until next time, you can't be a handsome man. You can be a handyman or something like that.
Uncle Red will be right back with his extraterrestrials.
Hey, wait a minute. I have the same number of terrestrials as anybody else. You know, Harold, met some people over the years, vegetarians. You ever heard of them?
Yeah, there are people who won't.
Oh my gosh, I was muted. And you're all telling me. Pro stream. I apologize. What I was saying so eloquently was, I believe that this segment was filmed at Camp Brebeuf, which is a camp in Guelph. I know that the scenes that we shot before with my brother and I as kids interacting with Red, that we saw one last week, one the week before, definitely were Camp Brebeuf. Later in this episode, you're going to see Red wearing like rain gear, walking around camp cabins, doing like a talk to teens. That's at Camp Brebeuf. I think this was too. But what I know 100% about this scene is that those tackle boxes that Red and Harold are carrying, gray top, green bottom, those were Christmas presents for my brother the year before this was taped. So once again, our swag commandeered for the good of the show. Please continue.
Who won't eat meat unless it's like grown in the ground.
Yeah. I hope this never happens to you, Harold. Have you seen them? They look like big green beans.
They're a little pale.
They're pale, they're green. They're not pale, they're green.
Green?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess there's a green pale, so in that way you could say they're pale.
That's true. I don't get that.
Okay, but the thing is, you are what you eat, all right?
Uh-oh.
Why do you think we never have rump roast?
That explains a lot.
Well, yeah. The vegetarian thing, to me, that's an animal thing. It's a rabbit.
Look out! Oh, what's it?
Welcome to the expert
Very calm.
show, where we examine those
They
three
can
little
smell
words that
fear.
men find so hard to say.
So can I.
That's me, I'm sorry. I was a little more afraid than you was.
See, if you're a vegetarian, we may not have had that problem.
Well, if I was a vegetarian, I would have ate him. No meat on a bug like that.
It is winter, a time to pause. The driveway is half shoveled out, but I lay down the shovel, and I pause to enjoy this moment. After all, this is my first heart attack. So anyway, like I was saying about UFO sightings, the bunch of us were having a late night skinny dip last night, and this UFO come down about treetop level, hovered there for a little while, then it took off about 1 trillion miles an hour, and it comes roaring back down, screeches to a halt, but without the screech.
No way, Uncle Red. These things always turn out to be like swamp gas or weather balloons or cafeteria food.
There are aliens and they exist, Harold, and they're watching us. It's just that the government is keeping the whole thing a big secret.
Well, so am I.
This here is the first book I ever read. It's 3 or 4 years ago now. It's The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Craig.
All right, I see some questions, which I will get to. Low Floor Bus says, how many of the inventions in Handyman Corner actually worked? Actually, a surprising number of them. We had a pretty able crew that had to kind of behind the scenes make the stuff work, at least for a few seconds, so we could get the kind of money shot, of the car driving away, or the thing rolling off, or the other thing shooting this thing. So I remember season 1. There's a Handyman Corner where they make a gull-wing door from just a regular doored car. They knock the door off, and then they reattach the door to the car, but now with the hinge being on the top of the door, and then they mounted an automatic garage door opener to the roof of the car with the chain coming down the outside, hooking onto the bottom, and that being the kind of leverage, with now the fulcrum being the top, to pull this thing up. And man, it worked. Now, there was some welding done underneath the duct tape to make sure it worked, but you know, more often than not, there was something sound about the physics of the handyman corners, of the inventions. They were just done with, you know, hockey sticks instead of proper beams or whatever. And so, you know, there was always something that kind of made sense about them, and that usually gave us enough of an ability to make them work. And then we could actually use some good, you know, sort of sound construction mechanics underneath the duct tape and the other dressings, so that the stuff actually kind of sort of maybe worked for a little while.
Women don't find you handsome.
Also,
You should at least find you
thank
handy.
you for the follow, Mr. Gets 34. Also, this scene coming up has a character in it that you're not going to see after season 1, and that is a guy named Will Miller playing Jimmy, who's the boat-loving mailman. Actually, my dad had a job way before he did television, even before he did music, where he was a mailman. And I think he kind of loosely based this character on it. I think he used to tell stories about he would, you know, go pick up his mail for the day to deliver, and he would sprint it. He would run and finish his route in like an hour, and then you have the rest of the day to just chill. And so I think some of those experiences as a mailman, apparently they put in different things now. You only get half your mail in the morning and then half at lunch, so people can't just do that anymore. That's what I've been told. Anyways, but I think this character, and also my dad has a big love of boats, so it seems to me like this character is kind of loosely based on some areas of my dad's personality.
Remember,
But
women don't find you handsome.
that's this guy. If you don't know who Will Miller is, he was a singer in a band called the Irish Rovers. You can go Google them after the stream.
Welcome
All
to
right,
the
here we go.
expert portion of the show, where we
Kenneth
examine those
Graham.
three little words that men
There's
find
nothing
so
quite as
hard to
good
say.
as messing in boats. I'm kind of paraphrasing. Either messing in them or messing out of them, but just messing around with boats. That's what Kenneth Graham said. My friend Jimmy McVeigh is he's a postal worker, and he's been messing around with this boat for a while, and actually he's made quite a mess of it, hasn't he?
Let me remember to unmute this time. Just pause for a quick second. I see a bunch of questions. Crypto says, what does the gizmo actually do? The actual gizmo that Harold has doesn't actually do anything. It is supposed to be a controller that controls effects for the show, but it actually wasn't functional. It was just, it kind of looked like maybe it was. Paladin, let me just scroll up here. Paladin says, who did the music for the show? My dad is actually a really musical guy. Before doing the Red Green show, before Comedy Mill, before that he did a show called Smith & Smith with my mom. Music was a component in all of those shows. Before they got into television, my parents were actually in a rock band called Jason for like 10 years. Originally they were both school teachers, which is awesome. But they were in a band on the weekends. The band started making more money than they did as teachers during the week. They quit their job as teachers and went out in the road in a rock band. So my dad is actually a very musical guy. So a lot of the music has his touch to it. One of the, you'll see at the end of the show, there's credits. There's a guy named Bob Deutsch, who's like the musical something. He has some audio credit on the show. He runs a studio, or ran a studio. I don't even actually know if it exists anymore. I think it does. Bob runs the studio called Grant Avenue Studio in Hamilton, and it's a studio that my parents used for years and years and years and years and years, and it's a studio that my dad used to create this music. So I think him and Bob maybe together came up with most of the music that you see, the Adventures with Bill theme, the Red Green theme, that kind of stuff. Polaris says, I grew up with this show and lived by it religiously, and was also the only reason why I was able to stay up late. Nice. I was wondering how long you guys kept the sports car look on the side of the van. Wish I could remember the episode. I think it was a Lamborghini Countach. Polaris, I don't recall that offhand, so I'd have to check into that. I don't think it must have been very long that we kept it that way. Ferb Guy says, funny this is episode talking about the UFOs when there's the Handyman Corner segment later in the show where Red makes a car with golf carts and big dishes that makes it look like a UFO. That is an amazing Handyman Corner. I can't even wait for that one. Yeah, I remember that. The satellite dishes, it looks like a giant wok. Marcus Spears says, man, now I'm so embarrassed I never realized he was in the Irish Rovers. I love their music. I listened to the Unicorn just a couple hours ago. The Irish Rovers played Casino Rama like a year ago. My father-in-law went to see them. So they're still doing stuff. You know the YouTube and Google searches are firing off now. Yeah, you go look up Will Miller, Irish Rovers. Okay, here we go. Or look up Jason and see if you can get any if anyone in chat today gets footage of my mom and my dad in the band Jason and sends it to me, that will be a heck of an addition to the stream next week. If you find it, please let me know. Okay, let's keep going with this episode.
Oh, here comes Jimmy now. How you doing, Jim?
Bloody hell! Look at this! Look at that, Red.
God.
Another bloody pair of pants ruined.
Oh.
I take my life in my hands every time I go out on this career. I mean, I risk my life for people like Ed McMahon. Bloody junk meal. I could get rabies, you know.
Boy, dogs hate posties, don't they, Jim?
Dogs? That was no dog did that. A man bit me. Bloody lunatic. Just because I was a couple of weeks late delivering his pension check.
An old man.
It was. Yeah, the senior citizen, they go off their nut, you know, they do their bunkers just because they can get a letter from home or from the grandchildren. Why can't they pick up the bloody telephone?
Well, let's forget that. Let's talk about the boat. That's a different
now you're
thing.
talking
Yeah,
my language.
yeah,
I mean, look at
yeah.
that. This boat is my salvation.
Yeah.
This is my relief in life.
Yeah.
My darling, my beauty. I
Yeah.
love her.
Yeah. This boat's like a wife for you, isn't it, Jim?
Red, this boat is not like a wife. This boat is here when I come home every afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this boat did not take off with the TV
No.
and the VC bloody R.
No.
No. This boat is my friend.
You know, Jimmy, Kenneth Graham said there's nothing more important than messing about in boats, and, well, this is for you.
Jeez, thanks very much, Red.
No problem.
I think I could make good use of this.
Uh-huh.
I need a 3/4 inch shim for that motor in there.
No, Jimmy, this is an original autographed edition, you know,
Uh-huh.
by the author.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, I only need to take it down to 3/4.
Oh, Jimmy, this book's worth $270.
Well, that bloody motor's in there is worth $2,000. So you tell me what's more important. There's $60 worth.
I'm up past the tundra where the polar bears dance.
Yeah.
I got snow in my face and ice in my pants. I'm fishing the Arctic and I just had to phone you because I caught something big.
Double pneumonia. Oh, Uncle Red, that is so weird. I was just going to read from the viewer mail, and every time you walk in.
For heaven's sake.
That's weird, eh? That's weird. That's so weird. Anyway, here's the letter. Okay, it says, Dear Red, I've been watching your show for a short time now, but it seems longer. I really like when you do features on winter activities. Have you ever done...
Just a quick pause again. I'm interrupting so much, I can't wait for the YouTube comments when I post this VOD. You can see this is a bit called Mail Call where,
women don't mind
thank you for the
handsome.
follow, Crypto Jerry, appreciate that,
handy.
where Red and Harold would answer fan mail, and if you watch the show in later seasons, if you've never really seen the first few seasons before, it's a segment that you might not know, but you might sort of see in it the kind of roots of what became the experts portion of the show, which was a very popular segment later on in the life of the Red Green Show, where Harold would again read a letter from a fan, and Red and one other castmate would sit on the expert's couch and try to answer it. So even though this bit didn't survive exactly as it was, and it actually went through some changes over the years, which as we go through the seasons together, you'll see how different segments kind of morph and change, and they're like this for a while, then they turn into this, and they turn into that. But ultimately, this bit became the experts bit, which many of you probably do know. Oops, I didn't mean to just fast forward there. Okay. Let's keep watching.
Dear Red, I've been watching your show for a short time now, but it seems longer. I really like when you do features on winter activities. Have you ever done anything on snowmobiles?
Oh, you know that, Harold. I certainly have. I've ridden on them. I've stood up on them. I went into a couple of trees on them. I remember one time I got...
No, Uncle Red, I think he means on the show. Like, have you ever done a segment on snowmobiles?
Oh, well, yes, we have. Just last year there, I was out fishing for walleye, and I hooked into a snowmobile, which had gone through the ice the previous winter. I pulled her right up into the boat.
You must have had like a 1,000-pound test line?
Well, you know me. And if any of the viewers at home wanted to try fishing for snowmobiles, what you do is you run your line very deep, big hook, no bait, and do your fishing out in the center of the lake where the ice is the thinnest in the winter. Those things will give you a heck of a fight, a lot more than, say, a car tire or even an outboard motor.
Yeah, oh, jeepers, now that's fishing.
I got a heck of a time landing that, though. You know, we used a 9-foot dip net, lots of rope. And I bet the boat capsized 300, 400, maybe 500 times before we actually got the unit in there.
Boy, that sounds like fun.
Well, it's not.
Well, let's move to our next segment.
I had more to say about the snowmobiles.
Yeah, I know.
You know, one of the things that you need to learn how to do when you're a woodsman is to set a fire. It's a source of heat, it's a source of cooking, and it's a source of entertainment. So Bill was going to show us how to build a fire.
All right, I'm just going to pause it there just to mention something. First of all, we got some questions as well. What season did the Possum Lodge word game start? Bundy, we're actually going... That's something that we're going to be talking about later on the stream, so very good question. And we will get to it, but not right now. Crookery says the Order of Canada, very impressive. Yeah, actually that book that I showed you earlier with my picture right beside it. Oh, it's going to be tiny, but oh well. Right beside the picture of me is a picture of my dad with whoever the Governor General was at the time. I forget her name. Somebody else will know, I'm sure. And that was very cool to be there for him getting the Order of Canada. 420 says, so Red Green Junior TV, how's your dad and brother doing? Everybody's good. Talked to my brother yesterday. He's in Niagara Falls right now doing an actual real job. Apparently the company still does real things, not just streaming now. So he's off doing actual work. And my dad is doing fantastic. Michelle Jean, thank you, Fanatic. That's who it was. That was very cool. My grandmother, my dad's mom was there, and I was there, and my wife was there. It was very cool to see him receive that Order of Canada. How old is my dad? He will be 73 in December. Thank you for asking. He was born December 24th, 1945. Okay, so this Adventure with Bill film, I just wanted to pause it here because sometimes people ask me, or a very popular scene in these adventure films is Bill pulling stuff out of his overalls. He always, he walks onto camera and he pulls stuff out. And if you notice, people have asked me on chat before, okay, do you preload it? Is that editing tricks? How does Bill get so much stuff in his overalls? First of all, they're about 2 sizes too big, so that helps. But it's actually a couple things that we do. So you'll notice right off the bat, if I back it up for a quick second here. First of all, there's an edit right before he starts pulling stuff out. So he's come out in this scene, done a bunch of stuff.
Bill was going to show us.
And then, bam, there's an edit. And now all the stuff has been preloaded. So very often, right before Bill pulls things out of his overalls, you'll notice an edit right before, so that he doesn't have to walk around with all that junk in his overalls. Okay, and then we'll watch this scene. He's gonna pull all the stuff out, and then there'll be another edit, and then it will be full again.
How to build a fire out in the woods. Got some paper there. Actually, got quite a bit of stuff in the yellow coveralls there. You can get a heck of a lot into those coveralls. You get the bib there. My God, what is that? Oh, you can grab my wallet there. And he's quite a bit.
There's the edit, and now it's been restocked.
Got more stuff in the coveralls than I was on either. But you get there. You're pretty well ready to light it now. I think that's enough, Bill, isn't it? Bill? Oh, all right. I guess he's planning to do some cooking on this. So anyway, once he's got his fire all set, it's a question of what he used to start it, and those are matches there, that's normal, or you could use I believe that's a lighter magnifying glass, all right, with the sun, and focus that in on there, and well, he has a candle there, and I gotta wonder what Bill's underwear is made out of there. Well, this is an interesting thing, a cigarette.
All right, we're going to pause that there. I'm not sure this happens on another show, another episode, to be honest. This is, and I had to email my dad about this because I was like, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? This is, according to my sources, a shot of the possum van before it got painted to look like a possum. This is the only video of it that I know of. Now, maybe there is another, we probably likely didn't do just one adventure film that day because our budget was so low, we couldn't just do one. We would do 3 or 4 of these a day, sometimes more. It's possible it's in another episode of season 1. As we go through them, I'll have to keep a sharp eye out for it. But I emailed my dad and I said, Dad, what was on, this is just last week. I said, what's on the possum van before you painted it? Now keep in mind, he painted it the summer of 1991. He's like, I think it was Spectrum or Spectral Contracting Industries. Well, you can look at the lettering on the side of that van, SPCOIND. Holy cow, it's a naked possum van. So there you go. If anyone ever asks you, what does a possum van look like before it was painted like a possum, that's her right there.
Remember, women don't find you handsome. They should at least find you handy. Cigarette lighter. Cigarette lighter out of the car. He was we were kind of convinced. He went down inside. Oh my God. You know, Bill can really move when he's motivated. He was rocketing through the trees. Oh. Now, here's something you wouldn't normally think of. Using jumper cables to start your fire. What you do first of all is hook it up to the battery of your vehicle. You gotta be careful with that. Anyway, once they're hooked up with that end, you just hook the cables right into the fire, and I guess the spark, the idea of the spark will start this thing up. There she goes. This is a gun that Bill had. You can actually use a gun to start a fire. And there's dinner. So all in all, it was a heck of a day. Super time. It is winter. In the snow, the tracks of a rabbit, the tracks of the pheasant.
Also, just a quick interrupt here. This stuff was all bought at an Army surplus store in Hamilton, and the pants that my dad wore in this outfit, I used as snow pants for years afterwards. Up until maybe 2 years ago, I think they finally broke when I was tobogganing with my son. But a lot of this stuff, my brother says he still has this hat. He still has the big woolly mitts. So a lot of this stuff, even though, you know, my dad commandeered a lot of our stuff for the show, we ended up getting a lot of stuff from the show as well, including most of this outfit.
The tracks of the deer, remember, the tracks of the fox, and they all stop at the same spot, where they were run over by the tracks of the snowmobile. If any of you viewers would like to make a comment or have any questions about what's about to happen, please call Harold at home, not me, and not the station. Harold?
Okay, war. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, little boys and girls, dogs, cats, and fish. That's everybody. War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Ha! War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Say it again. Ha! That's cool. Well, I gotta tell you, war isn't good, right? It's not. It only blows things up. And war, it's not like a John Wayne movie or something, because it's in color. That's true. You know, a great man once said, war sucks scissors. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dogs, cats, and fish, that great man was me. War.
I just pause it there a quick sec. Couple of questions. Spiritus, one of our subscribers, Spiritus, thank you for that, says, where's the Bill dummy these days? I think that thing got trashed, man. I haven't seen that thing in a long time. It, by by the later seasons, that thing was looking rough. It was stuffed with twigs and leaves and stuff living in it. It was not good. So as far as I know, that thing is long gone. The Ferb guy says, does Steve Smith ever keep in contact with the cast? Absolutely. A lot of what was great about the show from my dad's perspective was he was in control of it from a creative standpoint and also from a personnel standpoint. So he only, especially as the show progressed, season 2 was a bit of an anomaly, but after season 2, people only stuck around if my dad thought they were great at what they did and if he got along with them. And so by, especially by the later seasons, we kept trying people out and seeing how this went, seeing how that went. They would last a few episodes or a season or two and then kind of fade away. And sometimes it was the actor getting busy and getting work somewhere else. That happened too. But by the end of it, kind of season 15, there was nobody on the cast that wasn't we weren't friends with. So, I was at one of my dad's live shows last year. His tour last year was called I'm Not Old, I'm Ripe. That was the title of the live tour that he did. It was actually the first tour that he ever invited my creative feedback on, which is why it probably was the worst tour he ever did. Just kidding. It was probably good. He didn't accept any of my ideas, so it was good. But I went to see him at a show, and there was Pat McKenna and Bob Bainbro and Jeff Lumby, so Harold, Dalton, and Winston, and other folks too who just coming to see how he's doing and hanging out. So absolutely keep in touch, and it's pretty cool to be a part of something where people were kind of like family, and you kind of got to work with your friends. And I think a lot of times people watch the show and they say, hey, we can tell you guys were kind of buddies. We could tell that they got along, and that comes across on the camera to us. You're having a good time, so we're having a good time. And that's something I know my dad's really proud of about the show. Also, this is Camp Brebeuf, and I don't know the name of this dog, if you're going to ask me. There is a big dog at the Nash Farm, our other location, and that dog's called Bear, and I remember being very scared of that dog. I don't remember this dog, but the rain gear that my dad's wearing in this clip, my brother also still has to this day, apparently. He somehow got his hands on that before I did. All right, here we go.
I know that a lot of you teenagers are pretty confused about life these days. Don't know what to say or what to do. This is because of one thing. Your glands. Right now, you see, your glands are trying to take over your body. In some cases, your glands are trying to take over the body of the person standing beside you. And every one of your glands is trying to tell you to do something different, and you got to be careful which gland you listen to, because you can always tell which gland is dominating a person's behavior. Like with Moose Thompson, it's his stomach. Stinky Peterson, well, what do you think? So now there you are, getting all panicky, thinking so many glands, so little time. And I'm telling you, just be patient. Every gland will get its turn eventually. Why be in a hurry for a truss? We'll be right back with the exciting conclusion of the story about the aliens.
I'll recalibrate my phaser, just to be on the safe side.
Harold, I want you to think about trying something this year in the winter, camping. Huh? We go out, we just get a tent there, and we go out and 50, 60 below zero.
But don't the pegs fall down in the snow for
No,
the
you
tent?
don't eat pigs.
No?
No, the tent, you put the tent up and it just freezes right the way it is.
Oh, it's certainly an interesting invitation.
Well, Harold, it's an experience you won't believe.
Have you done this ever before?
Well, yeah, I've seen it.
You've seen it?
Yeah. I
Like
saw it.
the igloos? Because I would go in an igloo. But
No, you don't want to go in an igloo. Because then you wake up in the middle of the night, you start chewing blubber.
That'd be horrible, because I could barely reach my stomach.
It's closer than you think.
It doesn't have to be a two-man tent, does it?
No, it's better if it's a one-man tent.
For the both of us?
Yeah. Well, then you keep the heat in.
I don't know. We're really going to have to think about this.
Well, I'd like you just to think about it. I'm not asking for a commitment. I'm just saying that, picture yourself mid-January.
I'm a man of the 90s. Commitment's hard.
Jack, come on up here. I know you're down there, Jack.
Just holding that on there again a quick second. I saw something in chat. Big Bad Dude says you could tell he perfected his gruffness in his voice throughout the years. Absolutely. You can tell there is a difference in Red's voice from season 1 all the way through to season 15, no question about it. People often ask about the voice. Does it hurt your dad to do it? People are often surprised when they hear my dad speak in his real voice for the first time, because all I've ever heard is that voice from him. So this is not his real voice, number one. And number two, the voice, for whatever reason, doesn't hurt him. He could do it for hours and hours and hours. I don't know if that was always the case, or season 1, because of the long days, he just developed a tolerance for speaking that way. I don't know how he does it. If I try to speak gruffly for a minute, it starts hurting my throat, but he could do this voice for a long, long time. This is another example of a character who didn't make it past 1 season. This is a character named Jack, played by an actor named Tim Sims. I believe this was shot. We used to hike at a few areas in kind of North Burlington as a family and go on picnics and stuff. Rattlesnake Point was one. Mount Nemo was one. I feel like this is Rattlesnake Point. It looks a lot like it to me. I'm not 100% sure. I wasn't on these location shoots that I can remember. But pretty sure this is North Burlington where we shot this. All right, here we go.
What do you want? If you're figuring on trying to take away my cave and all my supplies, well, think again, because it's mine. I have a receipt.
No. It's just the guys at the lodge were, worried about you, and your wife is worried about you, and your friends. Well, no, but at least your wife is worried about you.
Don't worry about me, Red. I'm like a wildcat, I have a 5th sense. And I'll tell you something. Pollution, terrorism, lawyers, it's all breaking down, Red. Oh, yeah. And while the rest of the world is sinking in its own filth and decay, I'm going to be right here in this cave, and I'm...
Jack, you okay?
Oh, my back. Stupid banana peels. Darn.
Jack, you hurt yourself? You okay down there?
I'm fine. So don't mess with me or I'll mess with you. Oh.
Jack, you okay?
No problem. Oh, I'm fine. So, Red, what's new?
Well, the guys at the lodge are, worried that you were getting enough to eat, that's all.
Well, my seeds came, Red, and my canned food arrived. Oh. I have enough canned food here to survive for years. Stacks and stacks. But you can't have any, it's all for me. And when I want something to eat, I just reach over to my big stack of cans, and pull out some canned gooseberries like this, or some fruit cocktail here, and then...
Jack, you okay?
And then I eat it. Well, Red, I'd love to visit, but... I have to practice my yoga.
Yeah, well, okay, maybe we'll come back later when you're feeling better,
Yeah. I'm fine.
All right.
I feel warm and everything is peaceful and tingly.
Well, I don't want to bother you while you're meditating, So anyway, the bunch of us, as I say, were skinny dipping, and we saw this UFO thing, and it came down, and it was just like out of the movie E.T., except it was smaller and it didn't have that great song. But it landed in the woods just behind the lodge, so we just went right over there, and we didn't even stop to, get dressed or anything, because we thought, well, maybe they would be intimidated by clothing or possibly allergic to it. So anyway, we just, buck naked, the bunch of us just whipped over there, and we also took a gift, beer, and we showed them how to drink it. And then they just started to leave. They got up and everything started, and we followed, and we chased them all through the forest and even actually up onto the main highway, and we're running down there, and the feet on the asphalt is not a fun thing. And just as we got close to them, they kind of shimmered out of existence. And the spaceship just rose silently into the night sky. And that's how come the 6 of us ended up drunk and stark naked in the middle of the main highway. And you ask any one of the bunch of us, and you'll get exactly the same story, word for word. Anyway, my wife is watching. I'll be home just as soon as I finish talking to my lawyer. So, hey, on behalf of myself and the nephew over there,
Harold.
that knew that, and a whole bunch of us up here at the lodge, until next time, keep your stick on the ice.
Actually, I'll give it a quick pause there because I just wanted to mention one or two of the people in the credits. Obviously written by Rick and Steve. Sandy Richardson was our production manager, and she was a really close friend of my parents as well, and still is. The Richardson family are kind of family friends of ours. My parents, I believe, well, actually, my mom met Sandy in the hospital. My mom was pregnant with my brother, and she was about to deliver, and was at the hospital.
Women don't find you handsome.
Thank you for
At least
the
find you handy.
follow, Ghosts of War 1984. My mom was in the hospital, gonna deliver my brother, and Sandy was in the same room or a similar spot, pregnant with her eldest daughter, Tiffany. And they met there and got talking. And I guess my parents were starting this show, Smith & Smith. And Sandy was a makeup artist for Don Cherry's Grapevine back in the day, which I guess was a show back then, late 70s. And Sandy came and started being the makeup person for my parents on Smith & Smith. And then as they remained friends and Sandy kept working at the show, she kind of took on more and more responsibility and eventually became the production manager, which I believe she was on Comedy Mill, as well as all 15 seasons of the Red Green Show. In that,
Remember, women don't find you handsome.
thank you, Chef Dogmaster, for the follow. In that cast picture I showed earlier, that crew picture that I was in, Sandy is in that, and next time I will make sure to point her out. Yeah, I think I missed it. I wanted to show it to you. Someone had asked earlier about there it is, sort of. Hang on. There it is. Someone asked about the music, who wrote it. I mentioned Bob Deutsch from Grant Avenue Studios. There he is, credited as the musical director. All right, and that is our episode for tonight. So thank you all for joining us for that portion of the evening. Now, if you just wanted to watch the episode and now you want to go, you're welcome to do that, especially if you're watching on YouTube. No problem. Leave anytime. But I thought we would do a little game for those of us who would like to sort of stick around. I thought I would try it out tonight, see how it goes. If it goes all right, then maybe this is something we can do maybe monthly on stream. Okay, and so what this game is going to be, first of all, there is going to be a prize. And just like in Highlander, there can only be one winner in chat tonight. The prize tonight is going to be, I'm going to email you, if you win, a digital document of all the scripts for season 15, all the show scripts. So you'll get all the lobby scenes, all the handyman corner, everything that we did in season 15. You will get a script for that, which are also on sale at redgreenshop.com right now, if you would like to go and buy them. But easier to win it. So we're going to do a series of questions and see how we do. Now, this is kind of an honor system. I'm sort of relying on you to not Google the answer to these. Some of them are quite easy. In fact, some of you are such good experts that at Red Green Lore that this is going to be super easy for you. I tried to do some ones that most of us will get, and then I tried to make them get a little bit harder as we go on. I have, how many do I have? I got 1, 2, 3, 4 questions, and then a tie break. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a question. I'm going to get people to answer in chat. So you're going to type the answer that you think it is. And then I'll give time for everybody to kind of get an answer in. And then I'll move on. And then I'll give what the right answer was. And then we'll move on to the next question. And it's up to you guys on the honor system, Possum Lodge, Oath, honor system, whatever it is, to keep track of your own score. Whoever gets all 4 right, we're going to have a tie-break question, and in the tie-break, there will only be one correct person, believe me, because it'll be a timed response, whoever gets it right first. Okay? You guys ready? Do your best. Even if you don't know an answer, put an answer in. You never know, you might get it right. And once again, you can keep track of it yourself. And I trust you 100%. But later, when I watch the VOD, if I see that you got things wrong and told me you got them right, I'm going to be so ticked. Okay. Our first question is a multiple choice question. There are 3 possible responses. I'm going to ask the questions. I'm going to read the 3 responses, and you're going to respond by either typing in the number 1, the number 2, or the number 3, depending which answer you think is correct. So all you're going to type in chat is either 1, enter, or 2, or 3. Okay? All right. This one should be a little bit easy for us. Okay? So let's gets us into it. The first question is this. The oath, the Possum Lodge oath, which you can type in chat, ! Oath, is Quando, Omni, Flunkus, Moritati. Some of you are already answering. Unbelievable. 42, Suntop. I respect that. Quando, Omni, Flunkus, Moritati. Does that stand for? Number 1, when you fail, you should die. Number 1, when you fail, you should die. Does it stand for number 2, when someone else fails, kill them? Number 2, when someone else fails, kill them. Or does it stand for number 3, when all else fails, play dead? When all else fails, play dead. Seeing some answers coming in. You guys seem on the ball. It is a possum oath, which is a little bit of a hint for that answer. Seeing them roll in. Seeing them roll in. I'm sorry, alphanumeric 333 is incorrect. It's a wrong answer. Okay. Those were pretty dark, Eric. I apologize. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, number 3 was the correct answer. So all you people who spammed 3 in chat, congratulations. You have a point. You're still in the game. Okay, the next question is a true or false question. So I'm going to ask the question, and then you are going to type in chat either T if you think my statement was true, or F if you think the statement was false. Okay, so true or false. Here we go. The question is, the largest mythical character on the show, a mythical character as a hint means a character who you hear their name, but you never actually see them. The largest mythical character on the show is named Moose Johnson. True or false? T if you think that's true, F if you think that's false. The largest mythical character on the show is named Moose Johnson. T's and F's, please. See the answers coming in. I saw a couple T's. Now I'm starting to see some F's. I'm seeing some T's again. This one's a little bit trickier. A little bit trickier. You know, I gotta up the difficulty. That first one, everybody seemed to get it right, so this is a little tougher. Seeing some T's, seeing a lot of F's. Okay. The answer is actually F. False. The largest mythical character on the show is actually named Moose Thompson, not Moose Johnson. Moose Johnson was actually my nickname in high school, as a side note. No, it wasn't. But Moose Thompson is the correct. So the answer for that one is false. So, yeah. But well done. It looked to me still like most of you guys got that right. Helmet Wintergarten. Nice. Helmet was actually seen, not mythical. So, okay. Question 3. In what season? This one's a little trickier. Okay, so we gotta, be ready for this. In what season? This might be just for the experts. What season did Red's suspenders turn from red and red to red and green? In what season did Red's suspenders go from both being red to the classic as we know him now, one red, one green? So I'd like a number for what season. So you can put 1 all the way to 15. What season you think that it happened? I'm seeing some 2s. I'm seeing some 3s. Another guy put 2+. He's just saying, look, I'm just going to go for the whole range. Seeing some 3s come in. Some 2s. Another 2+. There's a 4 from Phenomenal Sasquatch. I appreciate you being your own man. Phenomenal, or woman. More 2s and 3s. Okay. The answer to this question is season 3. Season 1 and 2, Red and Harold both wear red suspenders, and in season 3, it turns into the red and green suspenders. So not everyone got that right, but a lot of people still got that right. Good for you folks who put down season 3. Okay, this is our last question. So, if you've already missed one, maybe no one's going to get all 4. So you might be able to catch up here. If you've got all 3 already and you get this one, you will for sure make it into our tie-break round. Okay? So our 4th question in our red-green trivia tonight. This one might even be a little bit tougher. We'll see. What number, so I'm looking for a number, what number is Ranger Gord's fire tower? Ranger Gord has a fire tower number that is talked about in the show sometimes. What is that number? This one's a little trickier. I'm seeing 13. I'm seeing 123. I'm seeing 3 or 13, question mark. Sakabra, you have 3 out of 3. You're a mod. You can't win this. You're not winning stuff. Mods, come on. I'm going to get thrown off Twitch if I start handing out mods. I see a 15. I see a 7. 13 or 3 I'm seeing. People kind of asking. Depends on the season. That might actually be true. That might actually be true. Sometimes details on the show changed depending on, we weren't really paying attention to being consistent, and we didn't realize our fans might be. All right, so it seems like some folks are saying, look, it was this and then this. So I will accept 13 is the answer I was looking for. Firewatch Tower 13, that's the one I was expecting. But it might be possible that it turned into Fire Tower 3 later on, and so I will accept 3 or 13. 3 and 13. So if you put 3 or 13 or both, I will accept those as correct answers. Okay. 3 3 out of 4, Chef Dog. Not bad. 4 out of 4, Tony. Nicely done. Okay. Final question then. This is going to determine the champion of tonight's trivia. So what I'm looking for, again, this is going to be a number. And it's just going to be the first person to write it in chat. But please only respond if you've got 4 out of 4 right so far. So this tie break is to break the tie of the people who got 4 out of 4. So if you only got 2 out of 4, but you know this answer, please don't type it, because then you're going to win. And then that's the whole game is a sham at that point. And we can't have that. Okay, so for all of you who got 4 out of 4, buckle up, get your fingers ready on the keys. Here we go. Tiebreaker, good luck to you all. Here's our question. In what season? Another season question. Looking for a number. A hint is we only did 15 seasons, so it's going to be between 1 and 15. And my other hint is it's not season 1. I'll give that one away for free. In what season? And someone asked about this earlier. I believe it was Bundy. Were the word games introduced as a segment on the show? I'm looking for a number between 2 and 15. In what season were the word games introduced as a segment? Okay, I'm seeing lots of guesses here. I'm going to consult my official red-green library document. I'm going to switch over to it for some display capture. I don't even know if you guys can see that. I have a document that says every episode and what happened on that episode. And when I search for word game, the first one that appears, and I went through them just to make sure, is episode number 97, which is the 1995 season, Word Game Sensitive. That is, in fact, season 5. But a lot of people put season 4. So now I'm worried that you know this better than I do, and I'm wrong. But I don't think I am. I think I'm right. I think it's season 5. So, let me scroll up here. Look through these answers. 4, an 8, a 4, a 4, a 7, a 4, a 4, a 7, a 4, a 4, a 5. Ari Vanier is our massive red-green trivia winner. 1991 is season 1. 1992 is season 2. 1993 is season 3. 1994 is season 4. 1995 is season 5. 5. Season 5. TD says season 4 because no one considers season 2 canon. That's a good one. I like that. That was good. Okay, Ari, congratulations. Well done. You are the victor of our first ever red-green trivia. I'm sorry, season 2 does count. We have to accept it. It's part of it. It's like Rocky 5. You have to just grin and bear it. Okay. Ari, if you could hang on in channel after I close the stream in just a second, so I can get your information, your email or whatever, so I can email you season 15, all of those scripts. But in the meantime, thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for experiencing tonight, going through the fan mail, listening to the announcements. Thank you for being here, supporting the stream, watching. Had a lot of fun with that episode. Season 1 stuff is fantastic. Thank you for your questions and your comments and your interactions. It's a lot of fun to be here experiencing this with you guys. We will be back tomorrow. Our stream tomorrow is at 5 p.m. and we have got past season 2. We made it. I actually got an email from a fan saying, Dave, like season 2 is not that bad. So I apologize if I was maybe a bit harsh on it the last few streams. Season 2 isn't that bad. But I'm very happy to be on to Season 3. So Season 3 starts tomorrow, 5 p.m. It's unhosted. I'll be in chat for some of it, but not all of it. My daughter has a school play that she's in, and I want to go see that. So I will start the stream. I'll be around for a bit. I'll take off and do that, come back. I'll still be around in chat. But please come and enjoy that. And that will be our next stream. Again, thank you guys for being here, participating. Please keep your eye out. If you see comments on YouTube or Facebook that are like, we hate the VODs, we hate Twitch, please send them to me, redgreenjuniortv@gmail.com, so I can highlight them next week and we can all laugh at the critics together. That would be a lot of fun for me. All right, folks, thanks again. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. And on behalf of myself and Max and the whole gang up here at our Twitch Possum Lodge, keep your stick on the ice.